This is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association, located at 1601 East 18th Street, Suite 200F.
What's up, Kansas City? I'm your host, Brian Frizzell. Today we are filming in the Overland Park Fire Training Center. Today's special guest is Fire Chief Bryan Dehner.
Thank you, Glenn.
Fire Chief Dehner, excuse me. We are glad to have you on today. Glad that you could talk to us a little bit about some of your programs. The Fire Training Center, this really looks like a nice studio. Can you tell us about how long you've been here?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. The Fire Training Center was constructed in 1994, and originally really was not only a place for us to throw ladders, spray water, fight fires. It was also supported by neighboring fire departments that needed the same type of service. So they would actually help pay the rent, if you will, to rent space, kind of like if you were renting racquetball time. And so, when you do come down here, sometimes you'll see fire departments from other cities using the drill yard, running academies. Johnson County Community College uses this for their fire science program. The media studio portion of it really allows us to take training opportunities, events. Our media manager, Jason Rhodes, will capture those events, bring them in here, and then we can share them to folks that weren't at the scene, and we can use them for training opportunities and learn from those events and those types of things.
Now let's talk a little bit about training, Chief Dehner. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Marine. He's been out of the service for a while now, but he talked about being able to run a mile in 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minute mark. Do you have a requirement for your people who you're recruiting who are in training? Do they have to run certain time?
First of all, being an occupational athlete and being in physical condition for 30 to 35 years is very important. Even though we have folks that can run 5 minute miles, which is fantastic, I am not one of them, and most of them are not one of them. We have job-related physical expectations, and we really have medical doctors. We do an annual physical, and the medical community will determine whether or not someone is physically fit. So we're trying to make sure that we keep someone employed, injury-free, avoiding things that after 30 years in, whether that it's what's affecting all the general population: diabetes, any weight issues, cholesterol issues, and making sure that we have healthy folks. So we do have an expectation that people maintain their physical well-being. We have fitness equipment at every one of our facilities to help folks with that. We try to give as much nutrition guidance as possible, and I would just say that over the 30 years in the firehouse, the meals that are prepared at lunch and dinner are different today than then.
Yeah, that's the best part.
There are more vegetables on the table today than there have been for quite a while.
Now, Chief Dehner, we don't want to scare anybody away. I understand that you've had recent recruitment efforts among youth in high schools at Bartle Hall. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to scare anybody away. Hopefully we get everybody to get their pencils ready to take down information, because we are constantly looking for occupational athletes for the next generation. We participated in the first Core for Youth Bartle Hall event, linking 50-some high school students to public safety venues. How do I become a firefighter? How do I become a paramedic? How do I become a police officer? And various jobs were there as a career fair. We want to make sure that we can cut the confusion of what merit badges, certifications, training do I need to obtain to become eligible to test for being a firefighter or paramedic. So if folks have questions on that, we would love to talk to folks. Our website, opkansas.org, has our information. We also have our video clips that kind of help paint that picture, but it does take some investment. And so meaning if a graduated high school student typically has to go through, and I know you've interviewed Mark James with the Metropolitan Community Colleges, a couple semesters worth of coursework at a Penn Valley or Blue River or Johnson County Community College or KCK Community College is what it takes to obtain an emergency medical technician certification, It's basically a semester-long course, as well as firefighter 1 and 2 state certification. You get those two things, and really you're pretty much game ready to apply for any fire department in the metro area.
Now, Chief Dehner, a little while ago, I read the autobiography of, I don't want to say his first name, I forgot, but it was Montel Williams' father. He was one of the first chiefs in the Baltimore area, African American. And he just talked about going through that process, that it was real strenuous, and but it was a community aspect. Everyone in the community knew who he was. They waved him on the block, and he would spend 12, 13-hour days on the job. What is it like here in Overland Park, Chief Dehner, and what are some of the things impacting services that firemen give to the community today?
Well, I would say the fire service is your probably most historic community-based government institution. If you were to ask folks, does everyone know where City Hall is and what it looks like? But I think everyone can tell you where the closest fire station is to their house. That is a shared resource. People pitch in, whether it's volunteer or a career facility. That is a community-based station that's really there to serve the folks that are living around that area. So we are invested from the northern tip of our city to the southern boundary, and the evolution of that, right? I mean, our city is a pretty new city, 1960. The fire department existed prior to that. So we have evolved as the community has evolved, and has been a staple prior to the city of Overland Park being in existence. We're also made up of 4 separate communities that have merged with us. Fire departments of South Park, Elmhurst, Stanley, and recently this year, Marion, Kansas, have transitioned their fire protection in with our service, and we have brought on their individuals that recently merged in 21 folks. Again, all based to serve the community in their best interests. And the calls that the 911 is sending our way is primarily 80% medical. That has not always been the case, but today 80% of our business is medical. The 20% is fire and related issues, and then some of those specialty things, way less than 1%. High angle rescue, hazardous materials, those types of things are things we have to be ready to be effective at. But it's really a low frequency, high risk type of business. Now,
it takes a lot to risk one's life for anybody. Can you tell us a little bit, Chief Dehner, why you decided to go into the service here?
Well,
Fireman service?
I ask that question with folks every time we hand them a service award. Remind us how you got into this business, because it is a minority of folks that are, I grew up always wanting to be a firefighter, or my family was in the fire business. I went to get a basketball physical for high school.
What high school?
Park Hill High School.
You just beat us. I went to Ruskin.
Okay, well, that's what we do. No, no.
We get better.
No, went to get a basketball physical. My doctor, who was a volunteer firefighter, she talked me and a wrestler into going down and joining the volunteer fire department, and it stuck. Like the mayor you just interviewed, I went to the University of Missouri for a business degree in marketing, and continued to stay connected to the fire service, and jumped into it as a career in '94. So it's a different direction than I expected, but I quickly became passionate about the mission and the work that the fire service was involved with, and I couldn't get it out of my system.
Well, hopefully your words will inspire someone today to not do more research about the Overland Park Fire Department, to perhaps pursue a career in the fire service as well. Final words. Do you have any final words for us?
Well, we just, we like we say, we're very fortunate to have great folks working for us that have devoted their lives to public safety and serve 30, 35, 40-year careers. When they talk about generations of today, the tenure, how folks, millennials right out of school, the idea of being with one organization for 30, 35 years is kind of, there's not a connection there. But we have a great experience with folks with a long-term it's a fit. It's a great way to serve a career and be proud of what you do. And if there's anything we can do to help kind of connect the dots and help folks get those merit badges that they need to be able to be competitive testers in the system. And it's not just Overland Park that needs great folks. The region will need great folks as well. So anything we can do to assist with that, and because everyone's story of how I became a firefighter is different, and when that turn comes and that opportunity to kind of give them some information and help them with that, it's our job to do that.
Tell us a little bit about, was it Guns and Hoses?
Yeah. Well, coming up in November, we actually have some of our folks are going to be taking part in the Guns and Hoses boxing match, and hopefully folks will be able to come down and support them. The charity that's supported by that, the SAFE Foundation, is a fantastic organization that really helps police and fire agencies in moments of tragedy where families are supported and continue to be supported throughout the year. So it is a charity I feel very strongly about, and hope folks come out and support them and support our boxers that are putting on the show and taking the risk of doing that. Hope they all stay safe.
Awesome. Let's all stay safe. If you are interested in learning more about the fire department online, what's the website?
Yeah, opkansas.org. We'll get you there. Click on fire, and we have all the propaganda on there to get you encouraged to sign up.
I'm your host, Glenn Bryan Frizzell. Go online for more video at www.whatsupkansascity.net. And remember, the sky's the limit. Aim high, shoot for the moon. If you miss at the very least, you would have landed among the stars. Take care until next time.
I'm IFBB Bikini Pro Cat Williams, and when I'm not working out in the gym, I'm searching the web on Cascade Media and What's Up Kansas City. So make sure you check them out.